Metallica released an album called Load, and not many people were huge fans of it. But one song they did have on it that kind of stuck with me. Two reasons. Number one, it was probably one of their shortest songs. But number two is the message, and the song is called "Wasting My Hate." And it's kind of true, right? Like, it's telling you, like, why waste your time being mad and frustrated when there's something you just can't control? Don't waste your hate. And I kind of feel the same way. I know we talked about in our last two segments, we talked about what pisses us off and frustrates us about coronavirus and living through a quarantine and lockdown, and then our top 5 most angering moments. But I mean, there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. There's got to be some positivity coming through this, don't you think?
I hope so, because otherwise, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Like, if we continue to just fall into despair, eventually it just becomes harder and harder to get out of it. Mm-hmm. Look, before we go any further, I just want to remind everyone to take a minute and to follow, subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget, we have weekly updates on our YouTube channel as well, Facebook and Instagram posts. We have content there. So you can find all those links on our podcast landing page. So, okay, back to the idea of like positivity, like what can we take from this, and I had this moment of epiphany at the end of 2020, and this wasn't because of the new year. Like, I'm not into the whole new year, new me nonsense, but it was just
really, I was going to say, it looked like you lost about 4 pounds. Have you been exercising? Are you a New Year's resolutioner?
No, the quarantine, all the stores are closed. Can't get my chips. But no, at least the beer store is still open.
Pop,
that's right. Pardon me. But I had this epiphany, right? No, not epiphany, but like a come to my senses moment where I was looking back on the last year and I realized, I did let it really get to me, and I can justify it all I want, but at the end of the day, I can still choose how I react to things. I'm still the master of my feelings, the master of my heart, my mind. How I react, how I face adversity is entirely under my control. And I kind of lost that in the last year. And it was a good moment of self-reflection. And I don't blame anyone for going there. I mean, it's an easy thing to fall into, especially with these times. But I realized that if I don't do something about it, if I don't change something, then I don't like the person that I was kind of becoming,
Mm-hmm. And like my dad always said, only worry about things you can control. Right? And I think that's vital. So what positive outlook can we have moving forward? So what have you been doing? Honestly, I can tell you what I've been doing. I've taken up guitar. I have a guitar at school, and I've just been learning how to play chords, and I've been learning how to draw. I used to draw when I was like 10, 11 years old, and I just you know what? I went on a tutorial online, and I just took a pencil and drew a little Spider-Man and Wolverine, and I was like, okay, I think I can do this a little bit, practice, and just, you know what? Something so simple. I can't do what I want in terms of like going out, playing sports, or, hanging out with people, but you know what? I can still focus on me and learning new skills.
Yeah.
What about you?
Honestly, I'm trying to tap in to my kids and remembering how to play. So they have this pretend kitchen downstairs. So I went downstairs today and my kids were watching YouTube, right? Because we were trying to get work done and the work day had finished. So I went down, I didn't say anything. I just walked down, I went to the toy chest where we keep the costumes. I put on an apron and a chef's hat and I crawled into this kitchen. And I started just taking things and putting them on the stove. And my son comes over, Dad, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just cooking. Okay, well, I'm going to watch my show. Yeah, no problem, buddy. And I just, kept cooking. Then my daughter comes over and she kind of slides in with me, And then my son's like, oh, what are they doing? And he came back over. And next thing you know, we had this great play. And I felt so good. Not because I had fun playing, because, my knees were kind of sore. I'm getting old. But I felt like I was a good dad. I felt like I had a win. Like, hey, I engaged my kids. I drew them away from a screen for a change. They're in front of a screen all day long, And so I'm looking for little victories right now. I'm looking.
And they finally enjoyed your food.
How did they enjoy my food? It tastes like plastic.
And they finally enjoyed your food.
Oh yeah, finally. No, but that's what I got to do. Find little ways to win. It doesn't matter what it is, right? If I make my bed in the morning, and I know that sounds so silly.
No.
But just just succeeding at something so I can say, hey, you know what? I didn't get a lot of work done today. I was late for a meeting. My kid skipped his last class, but we had a really good play. And, I did a 20-minute cardio workout in the basement with my wife. That's a good day.
And I think that's the important part, right? Small victories, like you've always said. You got to focus on little things. You can't focus on things you can't control. You can't control the virus. So you worry about what's going on in your house. How do you make yourself happy? How do you have a positive outlook? How do you wake up and enjoy every single day? Even though everything is still out of your control, you still got to find the little things. You got to learn how to play again with little toys. You got to play a couple video games. You got to spend more time with the family. You got to teach them independence so that they can play video games on their own. They can work the screen. They can play in the kitchen by themselves. But the point is, you have to find your inner self, make yourself happy.
Yeah.
If you focus on despair, if you focus on the negative, you focus on the dark side, like you said, you're going to go down a path that you're not going to like yourself. And how do you come out of that? That's going to be one of the hardest things to do, is how do you come back to be yourself if you've changed, if you've let yourself change in the dark times?
And I can say with certainty that what you can succeed at doing today, when things go back to any kind of semblance of normalcy, you're going to feel so much better, and you're going to be that much further ahead than if you just let yourself fall into that pit. And it's hard, but you know what? I'm also realizing, talking to people, because I'm a pretty open guy to an extent. Like, I don't really talk about my emotions, but lately I can't help it.
Like how you puffed your chest. My emotions.
My emotions. I'm a man.
I'm a man. We could talk about how we cried. I cried like a baby. Sometimes you just get overwhelmed, and it's okay to cry, even as a man. Especially as a man. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
the emotions are there.
Yeah. I did in front of my mom, and she's like, "It's okay." And I'm like, "Stop talking to me, Mom. Like, I just need
to hold me.
Just let me go."
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I was overwhelmed. I was getting sucked into feeling lonely and depressed, and I'm like, I gotta cry. And you know what I watch, honestly? Like, I need to get it out sometimes, and I'm not gonna lie. When Kobe Bryant died, I'm like, oh my! I was in shock, and I needed to get it out. So I always watch the same video, maybe once every year, 2 years, when I need a solid cry. I watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, dude, the dad episode.
Oh
man,
it's like the most real. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I like, just go type in Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air dad episode, and it's like a 2-minute clip, but it's like the most raw, emotional clip for a guy who portrays such a funny, goofy character to turn serious. And yeah, it gets to me every time, and there's never a doubt in my mind that when I need to cry, that's the video I go to.
Yeah,
but I go back, like, to what you're saying. You need to let it out.
Yep.
Don't keep it in, man.
No. We're sitting here saying, control what you can control, and for some people it's easier than for others. I know for me it's hard, but I'm working through it. But look, I'm learning that everyone's going through it, and there's people that want to help you and talk to you about it. And if you don't know how to pull yourself out from that despair, if you don't know what you can control, if you're spiraling, whatever, bring it up to your friends, bring it up to your coworkers. Everyone is feeling this right now. You're not alone. There's no way. And if they say they're great, they're either the most introverted person in the world, or they're full of malarkey. So, yeah, I guess that's it, man. Like, that's the positivity we want to spin. There is hope. There are things you can control. You just got to find them.
Yep.
So with that, I think we're going to call it an episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Surviving Real Life. Please don't forget, follow and subscribe to our podcast. We update weekly. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Those links are on our podcast landing page. We look forward to chatting with you again next week. Thanks for tuning in.
See you later.